Hey everybody, Nick Licameli here. Today we're talking about elbow pain, and there's some things that we could do if you are having elbow pain with something like the bench press or the pull up. Of course, pain, like we talk about always, is multifactorial, and there are always ways to modify around it. And finding that thing to modify sometimes takes a little guesswork, whether it's volume, range of motion, load, right? Recovery. So sometimes one of those modifications is exercise technique. Now, I'm not saying that there's a good and bad way to move or to perform a movement. I think that within a certain spectrum, there is freedom for some variation between person to person, and I think our bodies will adapt to most of what we give it as long as we gradually expose it to our bodies, right? So I'm not saying there's right or wrong technique. However, if you are having pain, a little change in technique could change the way the forces are getting put through your tissues, and could help, especially with some overuse injuries. Okay, so we're using exercise technique not as a way to improve safety or reduce injury risk. We're simply using it as a way to modify the way that the force is being put through the body. So we're going to talk about the pull-up, the bench press, and even the row, because it kind of all fits together in this conversation. So with the pull-up, what you want to make sure is that if you are doing your pull-ups and they kind of look something like this, where the shoulders are kind of shrugged up and you're kind of coming up to the bar like this, so you can kind of see that my elbow is getting a lot of flexion there, but my shoulder is not getting much extension, right? So most of that force is going through my elbow. It's almost like a body weight curl, right? If you can imagine that. So it's a lot of force going through your elbow. Not that that's bad, but if you are having elbow pain, switching this up could help, right? So what you want to focus on, instead of coming up to the bar like this, is really engaging the lats and pulling up more with your back muscles, right? So it's more of this as opposed to this, right? So you can see my elbow is bent well past 90 degrees. If I use more of my back, my elbow, is almost bent to 90 degrees. But the idea is that more of that is going through the lats and the muscles of your back. Same thing with a bench press, right? A close grip bench press is going to be more elbow dominant, right? It's going to have more on the triceps. So even a diamond push-up, very similar. So if you're pressing and your hands are close together, you're going to get much more elbow flexion and extension, almost like a tricep press, right? But if you really extend back and engage your chest and push, you could see that my elbow isn't bent quite as far as it was, right? But we're putting more of that force through our pecs and our shoulders. So it's taking some of that off of the elbow. And similar to a row, right? If you have, if we do something like a one-arm row, and you're kind of doing something like this, you can see that that's a lot of elbow flexion, right? It's a very elbow dominant movement, as opposed to using your back and pulling up like this, right? So my elbow is just about 90 degrees there, and that force is being put onto my lats and my bigger muscles in my back. So again, if you are having elbow pain, it could be from a lot of different things. This is just one way to possibly alleviate it and allow you to keep training, all right? So we're using exercise technique as a way to change the way that the load is being put through our bodies to, hopefully allow this type of overuse type pain to resolve itself while still getting a training effect. All right, I hope this helps. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want, and we'll see you next time.